What is up, my friend?
Hello, how are you?
Good, man. Episode number 37. I forget which. The little player or the little picture of the player instead of the episode number. I have to go and look at the thumbnail. Who I
Who you
picked?
got? I can
Yeah,
check here.
I might have been Rick Aguilera. No, Aguilera was number 38. Crap. I forget
I'm
who.
looking at my phone and it's very small. Is it an Expo or a
It
Blue
might
Jay?
be. I
I'm
don't
checking
know.
to see who it is.
Hard to say. All right. Well, nevertheless, welcome to episode number 37 to Cardboard and Cold Ones, where we raise our glasses and cheers to the legends we admire on the cardboard we collect.
Absolutely.
Never forget that.
I'm excited. I'm excited for our guest. Very cool guy. I got to meet him, I don't know, maybe about a year ago. And
Yeah.
very well known in the community, and most of us old vintage guys love him because he's a young guy and he's in the hobby and into what we love. So
yeah, so kind of just before we get into that, we'll
Yes.
do a roll call here, and so Diamond Gem's starting us off. Episode Paul Newman's number and Cool Hand Luke. Nice. Mike Good says, Sammy, have you tried writing to the president of your beer company, inviting him on Cardboard and Cold? So, okay, yeah, that's the running gag here, is that this live stream is not sponsored by Zadie's Lager from Union Craft Brewery. And I'll say it again, I'm going to do it for each live stream, and I'm hoping that one of the 21 people watching this live stream right now is from Maryland, or specifically Baltimore, because that's where Union Craft Brewery is. So Union Craft, I love your beer. I love Zadie's. It's the crispest beer and the greatest beer I've tasted. I want you to be a sponsor, but I'm not looking for money. No money included.
just free beer.
Ship me a 24-pack of these every month so I can drink it on this live stream. I mean, and I will endorse it on every single week.
I do have to try. I do have to try it, Sammy. Now I have to go out of my way and try it.
I'll see if I can. Man, I don't know. Between now and the national, I don't know if I will make sure I preserve 2 beers, because I have a 12-pack I'm working on, but I'll preserve 2 beers and I'll bring them with me.
Oh, I gotta ask that. Is it possible? Are we doing a Cardboard and Cold Ones from the national?
I guess we can, but Thursday. No, you know what? Thursday I think is the YouTube get together. I guess we can do it from there, I suppose, but it might be too busy.
Yeah, that might be chaotic.
Yeah, a little bit, but we'll see. Mike Good is here. Steve with a PH. Hello, my friends. Hi, Garrett. He will be on shortly. Jacob Dahl's here. Hey, friends. Ross loves cards. Good evening, all. Tony, Southern Collector. Congrats again, Tony, on such an epic card.
Awesome. Absolutely.
I'm not going to... He's already posted a video, so I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't watched it yet, but hell of a card.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Scott Yee is here. What's up? Vintage on Vintage is here. And John has settled. It is Dave Steve. Yes, Dave Steve.
Oh, there, see. So I said Blue Jay, right? I said
yeah,
Blue Jay.
Well, no, you said Expos, but...
oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I said you're
it's
right.
All good. But there's a funny story with Dave Steve, but I'll mention that later. Dave, Peacemaker Cards. Let's have some drinks. Absolutely, sir.
Yes.
Peter B. Heidi Ho. Bill Lee, I guess, yeah, Spaceman Bill Lee was 37 as well. Jayhawker is here. Mike is here. Could be Casey Stangles. Ruben's filling in there. Big Six is here. Bartolo Colon, days away from the National. Awesome. Keith is here. Let's see. Ray from Philly is here. Pastor Craig is here. And I think we have the roll call. So let me just mention, tonight on Cardboard and Cold Ones, we're sitting down with one of the youngest and fastest rising vintage dealers in the country, Garrett from Ballpark Memories. So Garrett's not just grinding behind the table at shows. He's also documenting the entire journey on his YouTube channel, Instagram, showing real-time deals, interactions with other dealers, and what it's like to build trust in a hobby that's traditionally been dominated by older generations. We're diving into how he got his start, the lessons he's learned along the way, and how content creation has become a key part of growing his dealer brand. So let's bring him in. Garrett, welcome. Oh, hold on. I got to unmute you. Go ahead.
Hey.
How are you? Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be back. It's always a good time hanging out with you guys. You guys are great. So usually on Thursdays, I'm busy like traveling to a show for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I can't get on here as much as I'd like to, but I had some more time this week. So I'm happy to join.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on because I've been intrigued with your with the card show videos. I think we talked about this briefly, but we talked about how there's like other guys that do this with modern cards, but no one's ever really done it with vintage. I guess Ryan Nolan was the last person who did it on his channel, but I haven't seen it really that often. And you've been doing it a lot where you have someone recording you, going up to tables and negotiating deals. And maybe it's me, but I love seeing stuff like that because you want to be able to see first off, what cards are going for, and also just to see the experience of being at a show.
Yeah, we've really been ramping it up recently. One of my buddies from high school said he wouldn't mind sort of recording and editing the videos, and he does a great job. So I always feel a little weird when people come up to me and say they like my videos because he's the one that puts in like all the work. Honestly, he does all the editing. I cannot edit like that, but they're definitely a step above what they used to be, a year or two ago.
He's the unsung hero.
Yes, yeah. He doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Now, you started on YouTube prior to even dealing, right? I mean, I remember watching you prior to even starting to becoming a dealer. So
yeah,
were you just showing
random smaller videos before I ever took it on full time, but just had a good time doing it and turned into a full-time gig.
That's awesome.
How has sharing your deals and sales online shaped the way you think about being a dealer?
It's huge. I mean, like the amount of sort of business that you attract from that is a lot because lots of it is built on trust. I mean, that's a huge part of it. If people are going to send you $1,000 for a card, they want to make sure that they're dealing with someone they can trust. So to be able to see the person's face on different videos and see them on Instagram and YouTube and then at shows. Exactly. So, just having that trust is probably the biggest part of it. Just makes people feel more comfortable buying from you and makes all the transactions a lot smoother.
So I guess in that case, you've gotten a lot of a lot of good feedback from the community since starting your channel then, or at least been publishing a lot of these videos.
People seem to like it. I mean, like you sort of mentioned, there's not a whole lot of videos of people doing deals on older cards on YouTube. So it's a good little niche to be in. And we seem to be doing all right so far.
Yeah.
Going well.
No, that's fantastic. How do you feel now? I know you deal with all of it. And Sammy, if I'm stepping on your questions, please let me know. But
go for
it. I was just curious. I know you sell on Facebook. I know you sell on eBay. I know you sell at shows. I know you sell, person to person. What do you feel has been the most beneficial as far as your sales? Is it the YouTube channel? Is it word of mouth on eBay? Is it going to shows? What do you think has been the most prominent producer, if you will?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd say the majority, or at least like the largest chunk, is probably from like Facebook, eBay, and shows are sort of like the three like big chunks. So that's where most of the sales come from for sure.
Okay. And that's a huge community on Facebook. Again, and when you're dealing with older cards too, it's an older generation. My kids, they make fun of me. Dad, you're on Facebook. Who goes on Facebook anymore? Yeah, the old guys.
You should see it with me. How many people my age are on Facebook?
Right, exactly. I hate to say it, Garrett. I think you're my daughter's age, so that's exactly where it comes down to. It's like they're like, Facebook. I don't even go on that.
Yeah, it's crazy when my friends will see me on Facebook. Are you on Facebook? I'm like, yeah, man, we're making deals right now.
Making deals with the old guys.
Yeah.
So when you're making deals with other dealers on these videos, I mean, what do you look for? Like, what's your edge on it?
I'd say the number one thing, especially right now, that I look for is just nice looking cards. It doesn't matter if it's a $40 card or if it's a $5,000 card. Obviously the popular players, but just people just want nice looking cards. I feel like sort of during COVID, people were kind of buying everything anything that interested them. And I mean, you guys have seen all across YouTube a bunch of people sort of consolidating down And lots of people are buying like their forever pieces now. So they've always wanted a Koufax rookie or a Seaver rookie, and they don't just want one, they want like the card. And it doesn't matter if it's, like I said, $50 or $5,000. They just want one that they're happy with, and they don't ever want to have to upgrade, replace. So that's probably the number one thing I look for.
Have you noticed any change in the business, like more traffic to your table, better deals, stronger relationships since you started posting these videos?
100%. Yeah, it definitely more traffic as far as sales. Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty crazy. It's hard to say how much is from the videos directly, but I mean, it's got to be a good amount. It's just one that's sort of hard to calculate, but there's no doubt. I mean, videos and content, just getting your face out there, getting your brand out there, post it on as many platforms as possible. I mean, that no doubt helps.
And man, I mean, I think was it I don't know if you had it at Strongsville, but I know I saw it in footage. You said you have like you set up your own banner now, and it's how much of that, like when it comes to like graphical representation of your brand, how, like, what sort of impact does that make? I mean, it's just brand recognition, and so when people see the logo or see the name, they're able to identify and connect.
Yeah, and it makes your table easier to find if you're at a show. Like, it's a giant sign. The one that I've been using recently, it's like 8 foot by 10 foot. Like, it's a massive sign. So you can see it like all the way across the show, even at these bigger, like 400 table shows. And it's funny, actually, Ashish was just calling me last night. He's like, where'd you get that sign from? I got to order one. So soon you guys will see Legacy Cards with a giant sign there too.
It's smart. So,
Yeah.
it's old-fashioned marketing in a manner where it still has impact. It's funny because, and I believe he's from Indiana as well. I forget his name. I think it's Tony. Is it Monster Cards? Monster Cards?
Yeah, that's Tony. I think he's from Illinois somewhere, but still.
Oh, is he from Illinois? Okay. So I know when I see Monster Cards on Instagram, I instantly know who that is, and just based on the sign. And that's just 101 marketing, man. It works. It's still effective.
Yeah, Tony is a great guy. I always enjoy when I see him at shows. He's always fun to talk to.
Yeah, he's actually kind of funny. His posts on Instagram are fun.
Yeah, if you guys don't follow him on Instagram already, you got to, because Tony's a funny guy. He's got a good sense of humor.
So when you're getting ready for a show, like, what's your setup philosophy when it comes to your table, or tables, I guess in this case? Like, how do you try to, aside from the signs and the promotion, how do you try to stand out at the shows?
Yeah, I bring essentially all my cards to the show, so I try to bring as much as I possibly can. And then there's nothing too crazy about it. Like, at least the way I arrange my cards is just in order of year. And then I'll sort of have one case of like the more high-end, like eye-catching type cards. So at least like that one case, if you walk by, you'll sort of like do a double check and look back. And it's funny, you can sort of see it when you're standing behind the table. Lots of people will sort of be walking by and then see like the big case where I spread the cards out a little bit more and do a double take. And so that's at least one thing I do there.
Let's see. So just some questions that are coming up. This one was already answered by Dan, but I'll just kind of let you kind of confirm it, or just to expand on it. He's like, where does he sell on Facebook? And I guess through various groups.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of different groups on there. I mean, there's probably 20 different groups that are just for like vintage cards. And there's all different like segments too. Like, there's sort of the broad any cards, and then there's like tobacco card groups, caramel cards, Gaudi, Bowman. I mean, each different year, tops,
oddball,
2, 3, 4, 5, oddball, junk wax, autographs. Like, it's pretty crazy. I got a good system down for it where I can sort of hit all of them every day. I try to, at least.
And that's what Dan was confirming, is that he sees your post in about 4 or 5 vintage groups. So Mike is asking, what are your next 4 or 5 shows you'll be at?
I think Nashville, that one's coming up in a couple weeks. Shipshawana is just around the corner again. Those are at least the first 2 off the top of my head. The Grove City, Ohio, I'll be at that one. I might be at the next Chicago Spectacular. We'll see about that. That's a maybe. Work in progress.
When is that?
That's not for a while. That's like November, I want to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Maybe
They used to have
October.
one in March and November, and now it's just down to
Yeah.
one, I think.
Yeah, I just did the Detroit one that they put on, so it's going to be a couple more months before
Right.
that.
So Blue Collar Card says, I bought a 65 mantle from Garrett 2 years ago just by seeing it on a YouTube video he did back then and reaching out to him. So, yeah,
There
man.
you go. It's working. It's working.
It's crazy how it happens. That's awesome. I always like hearing when people pick up a card. You know, people like having a card that they saw on a video and, you know, seeing the video and sort of directly, immediately going and messaging you. And they're like, I want that card. Yeah.
So, I mean, so this one, yeah, you know the story about this one, Jason.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Garrett actually sent me a text asking me about mine the scorecard back.
Right.
And he's like, how much did you buy it for? And I was like, oh, I bought it for this amount. And I forgot how it progressed, but I ultimately says, hey, you selling that? So it's like, I don't have it yet. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me know when you buy it.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
now he's going to
never
buy
made
it
it to the public.
that.
And so Chappell said to me after the trade night at Strongsville, Chappell said, he's like, oh, you know, I was gonna buy that from Garrett, but he sold it to you. You got it there too quickly. So,
yeah, that one was sold before I ever even told him about it. I was made it going quick.
Now, did he? I know you're friends with Chappell. Did he kind of mentor you? Did he kind of show you the ropes, or did you guys just become friends through dealing and all of that stuff?
100%. He's definitely a big mentor to me because he's been doing it full time for like 30 years or something. Like he never stopped doing it full time. I mean, you guys have been to enough shows. You've seen some of the just insane stuff he's got, and I think he does things the right way, and so that's one reason I like to sort of follow him. I mean, and he's just a good guy. He's a good guy, and he does stuff the right way. So that's why I like him.
I've openly said it to people at shows, particularly when I'm standing at his table buying something. I said, I buy something from you every time I see you. Almost every single time he's going to have something that I want. I mean, the inventory is insane.
Yeah, he does a great job of always keeping new stuff, even with the amount of shows he goes to and the amount of stuff he has. He's got stuff, you know, set back that he can always pull out for the next show if he needs it.
So Dan's Vintage Baseball Piece is asking, what is your number one source for inventory?
Shows, 100% shows. Yeah, that's definitely it. And everything else just sort of happens. Sometimes people will message me on Instagram with stuff they want to sell, or on Facebook, or I hand out my business cards at shows. Sometimes people just give me a text, email, call, or whatever. But I don't know what the percentage would be, but it's definitely a lot from shows, probably 75, 80%.
Do you feel as though that the reason for that is because it's more natural or more of a comfort thing doing it in person?
Yeah, there's just so many cards in one place. I mean, you don't have to sort of set up like a Facebook marketplace, like meeting up with someone or go through all the hassle of trying to find like a collection or whatever. Shows, there's just a ton of cards, and all you need is just a little bit of them to do all right.
Yeah, everyone, and going back to Chappell, everyone's saying, yeah, he's a gentleman. Bill Chappell's the perfect vintage dealer to model yourself after. And yeah, I mean, Chappell, it's funny. He's you get him on the right topic, he'll just keep going. But like otherwise, he's pretty quiet, pretty reserved.
Yeah, I love him, man. He's a great guy.
Diamond Gem says, I finally got to meet Garrett at the Midwest Monster a couple weeks ago. He's taller in person, easy to deal with, and good to talk to.
Oh, I forgot Bruce was there. Yeah, Bruce went too. I did. He went for the day, I believe. Yeah.
Blue Collar is asking, are you going to be setting up at the Miller show? Is it M.O.?
Moeller? That's the high school that Ken Griffey Jr. actually went there, and I think there was someone else that went there. But no, I don't set up at that one now.
I've heard about that actually.
It's a pretty good show. It's like really heavy vintage, like 90% plus vintage.
How was Arizona? Just for curious, because I saw the video, but was it heavy vintage, 50-50?
It like almost 100%. I mean, it's probably 90%.
And when was that?
Some guys are there, like Chappell's there, JD Heckathorn is there. Dave, I can't remember what his last name is, Dave something. But yeah, lots of good cards for sure.
Mike Good is asking, are you all sports or predominantly baseball?
All sports. So yeah, I'll take a look at anything. Like I just had like a Blackbeard card from that 33 Indian gum set recently. So I mean, I'll buy just about anything. But yeah, lots of basketball, football, hockey, a little bit, Gretzky and that type of stuff.
Let me see. I had this other question. I mean, I guess this is kind of just, I think it's a pretty open-ended question. Do you use your channel as a way to move inventory or build longer-term relationships with collectors?
Probably more the second one. Probably more just building relationships with people. Like I was talking about a little bit earlier, getting your face out there, and people just know you a little bit better. They feel like they know you. They feel like they can trust you, and it just creates good relationships with people.
Right.
I think it's fair to say that it's, and I might know the answer to this question, but my collecting habits have kind of taken a little bit of a left turn. I have to assume that if we're talking vintage, your biggest sales, or a prominent amount of your sales, are probably coming from the golden era versus pre-war. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's probably fair to say for the most part.
How has pre-war been? I know you've been picking up more and more. I've been watching the videos, and it seems like you're grabbing it. Do you see an uptick in that at all?
I wouldn't say an uptick necessarily. I mean, I used to do a lot more, and then but it was like weirder stuff. It wasn't the more traditional like T206 and Gaudi and that type of stuff. So it was lots of like the weird different caramel and strip cards, and that stuff doesn't always sell super well. So I sort of trimmed a lot of that off. But then the last couple months, I've been buying a good amount, like definitely T206s. If you can get a nice T206, like 4s and 5s and 6s, like those things sell like hotcakes. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I'll definitely pick up some pre-war because I like it. That's sort of the era that I personally enjoy the most.
Right.
I mean, there's stuff in that you hold on to for your own collection?
Yeah. Like I just I put back a Fan Craze Eddie Plank a couple months ago, probably 2 months ago. But I got it from Chapel and sent to SGC. It came back at 3, and so I was super happy with it. I like Eddie Plank. I don't know why, but he's just got some awesome cards. He doesn't have many. I think it's because the T206 is so tough that I just kind of want any card I can get, and that's one that I really like. It's super early. It's like his 3rd card or something. So I thought that was cool. I had to keep it.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot, right? And the mystique of the T206. People shake everything else down that they can for him, and then
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
like I almost pulled the trigger like 2 days ago on Net 54, and I'm sick that I didn't because someone else ended up buying it. But it was I forget what the like qualification or whatever you want to call it, designation for the set is, but the Bryce Williams Eddie Plank.
Yes.
The E107, is that it? I can't remember off the top.
I am horrible with those. Like he's got a sporting life, doesn't he, as well?
Yeah, he's got one of those. That's a cool looking one.
Yeah.
But someone threw one on Net 54, and it was trimmed all the way around, which is why I didn't pull the trigger on it like super quick. I was just like, but there's only like 12 of them ever graded. E103.
E103.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone had one on Net 54 for $2,500, and like the lowest sale in the last like 4 or 5 years was a lot nicer, obviously, but it was like $7,500. And I was like,
even the dealers get remorse like that. Like I've passed on several cards in the last couple months that I still.
It's always the ones you don't buy that'll make you sick. That's always what it is.
I equate it to poker. I love poker. You never talk about the hand you won. You can always remember how you lost, though, and the exact way it played out.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this is clear. You've built a reputation really quickly. What's been the key to growing both your dealer business and your channel at the same time?
Just staying in front of people's faces as much as you can. Like I'll post a couple YouTube shorts and Instagram reels and TikToks like every day. I try to post on Instagram with like just normal posts as much as I can. I obviously have the main YouTube videos, the longer format ones that I'll make. And then I'm on Facebook like multiple times a day, almost every day, unless I'm busy at a show. So just staying in front of people's face and go into shows, shaking hands, meeting people, and just stay fresh in everyone's memory.
Did you always feel comfortable negotiating for cards, or was that something that progressed?
No, it definitely progressed, and lots of it is more just like knowing people and sort of building the relationship really like brings that pressure level down. If it's someone that you don't know, like if I'll fly to a show on the West Coast and I don't know anyone, it's a little bit different. Like sometimes you gotta pay a little bit more than you want to just to sort of establish that relationship, and then over time you give some, you take some, and just the relationships really just make it a lot easier.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. So you definitely see that in Strongsville when when you're navigating the room. I mean, a lot of the stuff I've picked up over the years is a distribution from different dealers, and so I find that's always always beneficial, is to be able to buy from a variety of different dealers. It definitely
Yeah,
helps.
I'm sure you find it a little bit less, I hope, a little bit less intimidating sending me a text than walking up on some random table with some guy you've never met at a show. I would like to think it's a little less intimidating.
Right.
Sure,
And that's the point, right? You've been out there, you've built the relationships, it's constant networking. And I get a kick out of it because obviously this is what you're doing. This is your living, and you're moving 1,000,000 miles an hour. And you're young. Do you feel this is long term for you? This is what you want to do, correct?
Yeah. This is only thing on the agenda. So that's basically all I do. Just play with my cards, stay on Facebook, and
that's awesome. It. That's so awesome. I love it.
How old are you now, Garrett?
22.
Man, oh man.
Oh Christ, he's my youngest daughter's age.
He's got to be the youngest vintage dealer. I mean, I know there's a couple other guys that are out there doing this, but as far as I know there's guys that sell on Facebook and do the online thing exclusively, but you're setting up at shows, which kind of goes a little bit of an extra mile there. I mean, I don't know. I go to a lot of shows in the East Coast, and I haven't really come across a dealer that's like in that age range that's setting up with just vintage. I know there's Ethan. Ethan does it from time to time, but
yeah.
What are you seeing out there? I mean, are you seeing younger dealers, collectors doing this, or?
I'm definitely seeing more younger people like open to buying it. I mean, like lots of the people who traditionally do more modern stuff are way more open to vintage now, and like all the repackers and like everyone, they're all open to vintage now. So you'll see a lot more tables that have like a little bit, but as far as specializing in like they got 8 or 10 showcases that are all vintage, like not many that are super young, but there's lots of people dabbling now, like for sure.
Do you feel that's because from my perspective, at least, it's much more stable, right? The modern market is insane. It's like one card can be 10x and then hit the gutter within a day or two. You could be the Wander Francos. That just doesn't happen in vintage. Are people realizing that maybe it's a little more stable? And that's why they're dabbling?
Could be part of it. I think it's just because like the modern market's so like blazing red hot right now that those tables just get like pounded at the beginning of the show, just like swarmed. It's insane. So like once all those deals are gone, then people, after they make their rounds, look for modern stuff, then they go around looking for vintage because everyone wants to spend as much money as they can there, and so they'll all pick off some vintage cards if they can.
It's interesting. So you're going to have people coming in just for vintage, but you're saying that there's a lot of the guys that collect both address the modern stuff first and then go into vintage after?
More as far as like resellers, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unrelated, like a different topic, but Dylan's asking, how do you acquire the 33 Garig? I guess he just bought. Dylan bought a 33 Garig from you?
Yeah. I don't know if he's made a video on it yet or not. So sorry if I haven't checked it out yet. But yeah, he got a 33 Garig and a PSA 1.5, and then a really nice looking, well-centered 59 mantle from me like just this past week.
Wow.
So and it made it there safely, and it's a nice looking card. Like that's one of my favorites for sure. I think that one, someone just reached out to me on Facebook that I had bought a card or two from before, and they said, hey, you were fair with me last time. I have this, I think it was like 10 or 12,000 worth of stuff that they wanted to sell, and that was the biggest card in there. So I came in a big lot with a bunch of other stuff, and maybe I can pull it up here. But yeah,
That's wild.
yeah, like there was like a 53 Jackie Robinson, a 53 Page, 53 Mays, a Banks rookie, and like a couple other cards.
It's wild.
Yeah, that was just on Facebook. Someone just reached out to me.
So they're coming to you now because you're out there enough and you've built the relationships.
I've definitely noticed that a little bit more over the past couple months, which is amazing because then I can just do deals here for my card room and they don't have to fly to New York or drive down to Nashville or whatever.
That is so cool. That's fantastic.
So there was Dan was asking who's the guy at Strongsville with the son. It seemed like his son was making his deals and he was pretty young. That was Cutter, I believe.
Yep.
Do you see them a lot at shows, or is it mostly at the?
I think they live in like Texas.
Oh, okay.
Is that correct? Because I saw them at the Dallas show one time, like a year or so ago. And I think someone told me that they're sort of just now starting to get out to other shows. So Strongsville was only like the second time I'd ever really seen Cutter and his dad.
Right.
So I haven't interacted with them a ton, but I mean, I've heard good things.
So I mean, you're obviously, like we were talking earlier, there's definitely some younger people out there that are getting into selling vintage. I know, like I mentioned, Ethan. You know, Ethan's a guy. I don't know how often he travels outside of the Northeast region. Does he? I know you know him personally. So do you see him at the Midwest? A lot of the Midwest stuff.
He was in Detroit. I don't see him a ton. I wish I saw him a little bit more, but I mean, he was in Strongsville. He was in Detroit. And
Right.
yeah, Ethan's a workhorse, man. He's crazy. He'll be up till 5 a.m. pricing cards and sorting cards. It's crazy.
I saw like he was set up at a show in Long Island about 2 months ago, maybe a month ago, and I mean his stuff is it's unreal.
He's got incredible cards. He's always got a couple 52 Manels in there and Cowdy Ruths.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, is he like young?
yeah, he's younger than me. I think he's probably 21 now.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw like a 13 or 14-year-old kid with like a 52 Jackie.
No. Well,
Okay.
he's. I think. I mean, if I remember, I think Ethan kind of has like these like mutton chop sort of.
Nice.
That's him.
Nice. I
I
like
don't think
that.
he sets up at a ton of shows. I think he'll usually just do like the ones in the Northeast.
Yeah, so I've seen he sets up a lot. I think he sets up at the White Plains show. He sets up at the shows in Long Island. I think he must be from that area, like this New York City, or in that general area.
Yeah, most of the time if he's traveling, he's just going out and buying stuff, and he's crazy. Good dude.
Do you guys do a lot of buying from each other?
I don't really buy much from him because he's already sort of got his system down. I don't know how he sells the stuff, but he gets rid of it somehow. But he buys a lot of stuff from me, that's for sure.
Chris is asking, what do you think about the Detroit show for vintage?
It was good. Like Chappell was there, I was there, Ashish was there, and there was a handful of others. I mean, it was pretty good, probably 40% vintage.
Mm-hmm.
There was good stuff for sure.
Yeah, I haven't. I know there's a couple. Somebody's from? Yeah, there's a bunch of guys from that area that go to that show. I forgot who in particular, but that's cool. So I guess what are the goals for the channel and the dealer brand over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I'd like to just keep making the videos a little bit better. Sort of grow all the different aspects of social media. Grow Instagram, YouTube, keep growing just like the card brand itself, with the eBay store and everything, and just keep leveling up, keep doing what you're doing, one day at a time.
It's funny I'm sorry, go ahead, Sammy.
No, go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, it's funny that you said leveling up because we were talking before we jumped on, and the first thing I said to you after saying hello is, man, you've kind of leveled up 2 or 3 times in like the last 7 or 8 months. Like, or maybe it's just because I can't equate time anymore. Like how quickly you it seems to me like yesterday you were just starting, and now I'm seeing what's in your booth going, Jiminy Crickets, he leveled up quick.
Yeah,
I mean, do you feel like it happened fast?
Yeah, it happens fast. Like if people have sort of been following me on on Facebook and on YouTube. I mean, I've been out there a couple of years, so it's not quite overnight, but I mean, it feels like it. That's for sure. I mean, this year especially has just been crazy. I think my inventory's like doubled this year, which is crazy. And
right. So like 2 years ago, thinking back, would you have thought you were at where you're at right now? Would you have ever imagined that?
No. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I don't know. My dad and I will just kind of flip through some of the cards we have sometimes. It's like, man, I mean, not to like, I don't know, inflate my ego or whatever, but it's just cool. I'm like,
no, I think it's awesome.
I have like a $200 card. I was like, this is a big boy card.
Right.
I have to ask this. Has your dad bought a card off you?
Yeah, he's bought a couple. There's like one of his cards for his polar bear back set he got from me, and then some other Cobb. That's all he really collects. Is he's got his polar bear back set, and then he does Cobb stuff. So that's it.
Did you cut him a good deal?
Yeah. And it was one I got like a crazy good deal on too, and he's like, I think I want that one. I'm like.
So now you could have made more money, but Dad wanted it.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like at that point it's like, all right, yeah, I gotta just give you the card. Just eat the costs.
Of course you do. Of course you do. And at the end of the day, right? Hopefully, at some point in time, Dad passes it back to you anyway. So what's the difference at that point?
That's happened too. So
right.
So Dan was asking, are you going to Chantilly just to go, or?
I haven't really decided yet. I'm not as good as I probably should be at like planning out multiple weeks in advance, at least the shows like that where I would have to fly to. It's sort of up in the air because I didn't go to a show last weekend and I'm not able to go to one this weekend. So I might just make an emergency trip out there, but I won't set up. No, definitely not. Not this show.
At shows that you don't set up at, I know you're doing a lot of buying as the videos suggest and show. Do you also do any selling there, or does not really?
Like walking up to tables and selling?
Yeah.
Not a ton. I like selling is sort of the easy part. Like the cards sell themselves, especially if you have like good cards. I mean, they just sell themselves. So for the most part, no, just mostly buying, at least like when I'm walking around.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, though, there's a couple of people, like if I have some sets, like JD Heckathorn does a bunch of set builder type stuff. So I might give him some sets that I got into at a good price, or I call them chapel cards. If it's something like that Mathewson, like if you didn't want that Mathewson, that's a chapel card. The ones that you never see, like he's willing to pay a very fair number for those because he likes that stuff that you just never see. So I sort of have different, like when I buy a card, lots of times I already know where it's going.
So Mike is asking, is your dad a card dealer?
He helps out. Like he'll watch the table when I'm walking around or whatever. And he used to have a shop when he was like 15, believe it or not. Like he had a shop when he was like 15 until like 18-ish or 19, and then it closed and sold everything. And so we sort of got back into it a couple of years ago.
Do you let him when you're walking around? If something is priced and you're busy buying at a different table, and somebody comes up and is ready to buy a card, but they want like a little bit of a better deal, do you let your dad do the sell cards on your behalf?
He's pretty good at it. He'll sell stuff, and I sort of know a little bit better off the top of my head, like what my bottom dollar is, but he's sort of got it down. And at least on like the bigger cards, if it's a big card and a strong offer, he'll give me a call and just sort of ask if we can do that.
I would actually believe, Sammy, from being a father, like if my daughters were doing this, it'd be tougher to deal with me than my daughters, right? Like, because you want the best for your kids, so you're like, nah, I'm not taking that off. Where Garrett might say, yeah, that's fine. As a dad, I'd be like, nope, this is what he wants. So
Dan was saying your table was so stocked, well organized, and popular at Strongsville. They must want you back next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be back, planning on it. So I'm still in touch with the promoters, and they did a great job. I mean, that's got to be my favorite show of the year. Like if I had to just pick one, it's got to be Strongsville, to be honest. The National's cool, but Strongsville is just something's a little bit different about that one.
Yeah, it's all off knuckleheads in a smaller confined space, right?
It's a big get together. It's such a good time. That's definitely my favorite.
So Blue Collar says his favorite video that you've done is an old one that you made talking about smaller size sets that you could complete with great difficulty.
Yeah,
Without
I remember
great
that video. I think I was talking about like 41 play ball, 64 tops giants, and some of those other ones. I don't do a ton of those type of videos now. They just take a little bit more time, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Sort of
48
switched over
Bowman.
to some other stuff.
I got to believe 48 Bowman was in there. That's an
It probably was. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another good one.
And yes, you're right. There's never been a Matty that I didn't like. It's true. So Rick is asking, are there any cards he wants to sell on the live stream tonight? Any live stream specials?
Live stream specials? I don't know about specials, but I don't know. I figured you guys would ask at some point. So I got some just of the cooler stuff that I kind of like right now.
Yeah, just don't show them what I asked about. Keep that one down.
It's back here somewhere back there. The Hornsby sitting back there, but there's like a Scraps Tobacco Bruisers.
Awesome.
I just got these two in the mail yesterday. These two 53 mantles.
Jeez.
This 4 is like literally dead centered, like perfect centering on that 4. That thing's sweet.
Yeah.
This is worth asking now because I know you're a dealer. I know when we get into vintage, it's about the eye appeal. I have a running joke with some of my friends at BVG for the win because they seem to come at a little bit better price because they're in that plastic as opposed to a PSA or an SGC. Do you find that to be the case? Is there a price difference of a PSA 4 versus a BVG 4 just because of the plastic? If they were both dead centered, would they be priced differently?
It's tough to say. I mean, generally, I would say for the most part, the same grade, the BVG would sell for a little bit less, but I don't think it's necessarily because the company, like generally, if you take a PSA 5 and a BVG 5, the PSA 5 is just going to be a nicer card. So I think that's probably why it sells for more.
Sure.
More so than just the holder, but I'm sure it's a combination of the two at the same time.
Okay.
You got any other cards you want to show?
This one was in the last video. 41 play ball Ted and a 6. That thing's really, really nice. That's one of my favorite cards, like ever. I love that card.
Wow.
Let's see. I got a Koufax rookie, a 5.
Wow.
That thing's like dead centered too. Those are most of the ones I pulled out. Is just the ones that are just like nice looking cards.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Snyder rookie, 6'5", dead centered. Like I was saying, that's the type of stuff that's what I look for first, is the cards where I'm just like, I gotta have not just that card, but like literally that card, like that copy of that card. Like the famous 59 Gibson from the first like show video I did, that Phoenix video. Mm-hmm. Literally, I got to the show early and like the first table I saw had that, and I was just like,
that's
that card.
That's the one that's 7. That was a 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it PSA or SGC? I can't remember.
It was SGC.
SGC.
I don't know how that thing was a 7.5. Like, that thing was nuts.
Now I saw Rick Vintage Out About Cards said, "Oh, big boy cards." I do find, and I think Dan mentioned this earlier, you are balanced though. Your booth has
I mean, I've got other stuff. I just sort of figured I'd bring out some of those. Like I got this one's cool too. This is the first one I've ever had. I mean, it's still a pretty expensive card, still $500-600 card, but George Mikan rookie exhibit.
That's cool.
Like that's just a cool card.
Very cool.
So MVP Collector was asking, are you regrading cards into other slabs, or are you just selling as is? Not a ton. Like sometimes I'll do some reholders with like SGC. I'll reholder some of those. And then I have a 52 Bowman mantle right now that's a SGC4. I might send that to PSA because it's got like a print line, and SGC is so tough on like how the card presents. The corners are sharp enough to be like a 6 or a 7. Like the corners are razor sharp. It's just got a print line like right under his eye. So I'm hoping if I send it to PSA, I'll get like a 5 and maybe a 6 would be awesome.
Now you'll break it out. You won't send it to them with the grade. You'll break it out.
Correct. Yeah. Like if I'm trying to do that, I'll probably break it out.
Yeah.
And I guess considering the time that it takes for stuff to get graded, you're only going to, I mean, if you're sending stuff, are you Are you doing priority on it? Or are you just doing the
Yeah,
standard?
like I don't grade a ton myself, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Like SGC, I would send them like a decent amount of stuff, but they're taking so long now. Like that's what
Yeah.
everyone's been talking about recently, obviously. So I won't harp on it too much. But yeah, SGC is a little slow right now. Most of the cards that I'll send in will go to PSA because like if it's raw and it's like $100 or $200 card, I could sell that raw. But once you get into like the thousands, you gotta sort of grade it. Like not many people are gonna be buying it raw. So most of the time I'll go to PSA and you'll get it back quick and it costs a little bit, but then people love those freshly graded PSA graded cards for sure.
I think it's fair to ask the question to get a dealer perspective. What do you feel about SGC? You can harp on it a little bit. What do you think the future?
Oh no, God, people don't want to hear this, man. This has been beaten down to death.
I'm just curious what everybody's opinion is.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man,
all right.
I think they'll be all right. I mean, they got their crowd. I sort of personally prefer PSA for the most part. But yeah, I know. Sorry, Sammy. Sorry.
Well, good. I mean, clearly, I am outvoted here. MVP Collector is thanking Jason for asking that. So clearly, they want to know your opinion.
Yeah,
so it's fun. It's funny, Sammy, saying that.
And honestly, like lots of it is just the size of the slab. Like the SGC slabs, I don't know. Especially like when I'm storing all of them back here, they take up so much more space. They're just more bulky. I don't really like the big number on the slab. That just distracts me, especially like lots of stuff I keep for my collection is like lower grade stuff. So when it's got like a giant 1 there, it just feels like it's like insulting me. But then like, when I got like some of these that are higher graded, I think are really cool. Like that with a 6, I think it looks cool.
Of course, because it's a high number.
Yeah, but if it's like an authentic or 1.52, like I just feel like they're insulting me. Yeah, like the mantle, the 52 mantle 9.5 and all those, like the high grade, I do think they look cool in SGC. But that number just bothers me.
You're not the only one.
Number up there.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing I agree with you about SGC is the size of their slabs. When it comes to the oversized cards, they have two different sizes.
It's ridiculous.
They have 2 sizes. They have this one,
TV tray, and then
they have the TV dinner, the TV dinner tray.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, like, come on, man. Like PSA at least knows how to kind of, put things in the proper size holder, but.
Yeah, especially on the oversized stuff. Yeah, you're definitely right on that. I guess the caveat I should add is like up until the past month or so with them slowing down so much, but like SGC, the company, I'm probably more of a fan of than PSA, the company. But like when it comes to the slabs and like as a dealer, like nothing beats a freshly graded PSA slab. Like it's not even close. Like that's mostly what I'm looking for. Because like SGC, you can't tell if it was just graded from the cert. But PSA, like you can just look at one and be like, that thing was just graded in the last couple months based on like the cert number.
Right.
Yeah, Ruben is saying as you get older, you'll want the large numbers.
Or you can go really crazy and just collect ungraded, and then you don't got to worry about the number.
So that's a good. So I was just going to ask about that because you did at Strongsville, you had a display case that was exclusively set up with just raw stuff. How's the raw stuff selling? I'm like not so much sets, but like singles.
They move. They definitely sell. Especially if you can get one like without creases, like lots of the people who still do raw cards are sort of condition sensitive. So they want like a nice looking card without creases. But the problem is like cards without creases, if it would grade like a 3 or a 4, people probably think it's going to be a 6. So like lots of those have been graded. It's just sort of hard to come across. And then as you move up in dollar value, like I said, you can sell a $100 card raw or a $50 card. But when you get into a $500 card, like people, they don't really want to dish out $500 or $1,000, $2,000 for a raw card because the difference between a 4 and an altered or like some hidden crease or something, there's such a big like value gap that it's just hard as you move up in dollar value to keep doing raw cards.
Yeah, I would say that makes sense. I think the only thing that would detour from that statement is if the scarcity of the card, right? So like if it's super, super scarce and that's the only time you're going to see it.
Like I have no problem buying them. I still buy them and sell them, but just mostly graded. Like I had a 39 play ball Ted Williams I bought in Pittsburgh raw. Some guy said it was in his grandpa's, just like some shoebox in his grandpa's house, and he had just passed away, and brought in a 39 play ball Ted Williams and DiMaggio and a couple of commons too. And I sent that Ted in. It came back a 5.5.
Wow.
That thing was nice.
Right. That's
just sold like last week.
That's crazy. Well, you added value there, and that's the other thing, right? So if it's a 1 or a 1.5, at that point in time, you're thinking to yourself, what's the value here versus what it costs and the logistics. But
yeah,
I will tell you this: I'll self-promote. I'm digging the pre-war ungraded stuff, and especially oversized. So you see any of that, Garrett? Just shoot me a text.
Okay. I like that stuff. I find it cool. So like for collecting, I love that stuff, but it's just tougher selling.
Sammy has made me the national chickle guy. There's other things, the Butterfingers, the W517s. I like all that over. So the wide pen and fine pens, I like all that stuff.
That's what Jason's all about these days. Is oversized cards from like the 20s and 30s.
Right. The Wheaties panels.
Awesome.
I love the Wheaties panels.
Like those early exhibits and the wide pens and everything. Yeah.
So another question we have is, what card won't you sell?
None. I don't know. I used to do that like a little bit, and I was like, I wasn't a big like Roger Maris guy. I was like, maybe he's a little overrated, but I don't care.
But like, what about the fan craze Eddie Plank?
Well, I guess if you mean like that, I was sort of taking it as like some like moral standpoint, won't sell it, but like cards that I won't sell. I mean, I have stuff for my collection too. Yeah.
What is the crown jewel of your collection?
The crown jewel is this leaf musial I have that I got. Like my friend's uncle used to work for the Cardinals a few years ago, and I got it like early when it was like a big card for me, and it had a mark on the back, but the thing should be like a 4 MK at PSA, but it was an SGC1, and it was a more modern dealer, and so I got it for like SGC1 price, and the thing is just dead centered. The best color you've ever seen on a leaf musial. And so that plus being, the little bit of a connection to my friend, that's definitely it. That's the crown jewel.
Now, was it a dealer who dealt in mostly modern and just didn't know what he had?
He had a bunch of leafs that were all SGC1s with like writing on the back. And so I scooped those up, but they all look great.
That's where you score the deal. I actually did a video on that months ago. If you can find that modern dealer where he's got 4 or 5 vintage cards and he's not sure what he has, that could be had too.
100%.
So, as we kind of wrap up, I wanted to ask this one other question because do you see content like as a tool that more dealers should be using, or is it something that only works for certain personalities?
I mean, I wouldn't say I really have the personality for it. That's something I'm still working on, but like 100% people should. I mean, like no doubt they definitely should.
We're seeing it more and more. I mean, Lenny from Cardcast, he's been in the game for quite a while, and he's really starting to expand his channel now. I think he does more. His approach is more kind of like storytelling with kind of sharing the experience, having footage to support it, but mostly kind of sharing it as if you were with him for the entire journey.
Yeah, people want to see that.
Yeah, and with you though, it's like somebody. Dan just put it best. Garrett has a good social media personality. He's like Mr. Chill.
This is the same me you'll get if you see me at a show and there's no camera on. I mean, that's the one thing I said, like when we started making these videos, I was like, I don't want to do a single thing different than I already do. Like I want to go up to the same tables and make the same deals, talk in the same way, because I hate like feeling like I'm acting or whatever. So I just want to do the exact same thing that I already do, but just turn the camera on and film it. And that's what people want to see. I think especially in the vintage community, people don't want to feel like you're acting. They just want to feel like they're there with you watching what's going on and having a good time.
And most educated viewers can see through it, right? They know. So
Yeah. I mean, it's not like 2012 reality TV. Like people know if you're being authentic or not.
Right.
I remember there was a show at like a mall, I think, and there was one dealer that you were interacting with, and like if there was ever a dealer where it was like a struggle, that was like the one time where Garrett was like, it was back and forth.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was for the Gretzky rookie or something.
Yeah. I don't know. He's not a bad dude.
No. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not implying that. It was just more of it was just it just goes to show that the interactions that you've had, like the worst that it's going to get is a cordial interaction where we just cannot agree on a price. That was
and that's really how it goes, and that's why it's good to have it on camera, because it shows the wide range of people that you interact with, and especially if you're trying to buy as many cards as possible, you got to be able to deal with different personality types and at least try to get along with everybody.
So Father Son Vintage Cards asks, what card recently that you have negotiated on that you didn't get that you wish you could have gotten? I feel like we always get the cards. So.
Yeah, he's gonna get it done.
I tried to. Like, usually if it comes down to like a $5, $10, $20 difference, like you're just negotiating profit at that point. So I try not to be too pushy, and so most times if I'm close, I'll just get the deal done, to be honest.
So, I mean, in the videos, would you show deals that didn't happen? I mean, the ones that we've seen, you show the deals that go through, which is fine. But have there been deals that didn't happen that you?
There's been a few, and it's never like a big like clash. It's like, this is this is what you want to sell it for. Like I'm pretty laid back. I mean, if you don't want to sell it, then that's fine.
Of course.
If you don't want to sell it to me, I mean, like someone else, if I'm even like looking at it, that probably means it's priced pretty fairly. So no hard feelings if someone get a deal done.
MVP collector, who's the best selling set for you? Or I guess what year?
Early 50s for like baseball, basketball, 61 Fleer. 61 Fleer and 86 Fleer, just like some of the best selling cards like out there, just period, for any sport. And baseball, like the early 50s, the 54, 53, that type of era for sure.
Orlando says one dealer wanted to flip a coin, but Garrett didn't want to.
I've done coin flips before. I think I'm like 0-4. Like it's so bad. I lose every time. One time this guy had like a little kid's mini basketball hoop, and he was like, "Here, shoot for it." And I used to play basketball in high school, so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna make this." And I missed both shots. I had to pay him like extra $100 too. I was like, man, not good.
Cool, man. Well, let's see. The last question I had was, let me see if I can get to it. What can we expect from Ballpark Memories next? Anything cooking for the National or beyond?
I would just say more and better. So more quantity and more quality, cards, content, everything. So I'd like to get on here more. Like I said, I don't always have the time or the schedule to be able to make it, but it's always a good time when I come on here, and just more and better. That's really it.
And you're going to be at the YouTube get together
at the National.
Yeah, I think it's on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Chris from Missouri is here, so he can confirm it. But he was asking if Jason screwed anything up yet.
I love Chris.
But I believe Chris and Mike are behind it usually, the get together. So. Cool, man. Let's see. Cooking a nice PSA 862 tops Clemente to sell to Dan. I guess he's looking for one.
Okay.
Okay.
Tough card.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, listen, guys, thank you again. Thank you, Garrett, for jumping on tonight. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for chiming in. Very good interaction. So anything else you want to mention, Garrett, before we head out?
I just appreciate you guys having me on. I mean, it's always such a good time. So you guys are great, and I appreciate it.
We had a good turnout for you tonight. We had about as many as like 70+ people watching. So
Oh wow,
That was perfect.
yeah,
nice.
that should boost business. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next Thursday. I think next Thursday. I don't think we have anything else.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
All right. Well, again, Garrett, thank you so much. We'll see you at the National, and thank you, everybody. We'll chat with you soon. Take care.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.